We are live all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. It is the Millionaire Talk Show combined with the Fly on the Wall Show in the building. What's going on, good sir?
How you doing, man? I'm grateful to be here.
For the people who don't know, I mean, you've been out here killing it in the podcast game for a while, 70 episodes. Let people know who you are, man.
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Todd or Charles. I'm not sure what you're going by today. Mr. Billy, thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is J.R. Lee. I'm an author. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm the host of the Fly on the Wall Show.
Yeah, so this brother moved all the way from South Florida.
Yes, sir.
To Georgia to pursue his entrepreneur endeavors.
Yes, sir.
I'm curious, though. Can you walk us through your story? I know you've been... you've had some successful ventures that you've built on behalf of other people.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about that, man.
Absolutely, man. So my entrepreneur journey has been a long one. Really, started off like I feel like any entrepreneur started off selling candy, started off selling stuff in school. I went to college. I studied business in college. I started, networking. I started throwing parties. Shout out to Jig Nation. Shout out to my guy Jeff, Jazzy Jeff. We started throwing some of the biggest parties in South Florida. College parties, it's pretty interesting. Started doing that. I ventured out into, selling food. I had, my own mobile food company. We were selling food, Soulful Eats. One day I seen my girlfriend's girl, she was wearing like a thing on her head, like a satin wrap. And I thought it was cool. I said, I would wear that if guys could wear that. Mm-hmm. And so, I'm not going to lie, at the time, I was smoking some weed. I'm not sure if I can say it on here.
You do whatever you got to do, man.
I was smoking some weed, so I was feeling very...
The only thing I require is you talking to the microphone.
Talking to the mic, okay. And so I was feeling a little inspired, man. So, we came up with the idea to, like, make something for men. So we came up with the do-rag. And so that was in 2017, 2018, when do-rags was really killing the game. So we came up with the 2-in-1 reversible do-rags. I helped with the social media, got the social media, helped with the branding. And, from there, we came up with so many different ideas. I came up with something called the Dragon Ball Z do-rag, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with an artist named Thundercat. He actually made a song about it, and that kind of transcended everything. Wow. It really transcended everything. He made a song. I was able to get, we were able to get, the do-rag to T-Pain, Spice Adams. I was able to meet, Damon John wearing the Dragon Ball Z do-rags. I was actually, that I was really focused on helping to build that brand, man. And upon doing that, I kind of lost focus on myself, and I feel like, sometimes as entrepreneurs, it's so easy to help other people and to build, and you kind of lose focus on yourself, man. And eventually, I realized that, it was time for me to start building my stuff, Food for Thought. That's my brand, Food for Thought Network. And, and from there, it was just kind of, parted ways, and we moved to Atlanta, and it's been a journey since, man. It's definitely been a journey since.
So what sparked this entrepreneurism, this spirit inside of you?
I think one of the things that really sparked it, I didn't know back then, but it was really like lack, scarcity. I grew up to 2 immigrant parents, Jamaican parents. I see them working all the time. I see them working. They still working, and I just, they always working, and, it wasn't really, I feel like all that working, it wasn't really any time for family. Mm-hmm. Even though they was working, they really weren't able to always give me the things that I acquired at the time, whether it was monetary things or just emotional things. And so I had to get it on my own. So I started selling candy, had to buy my own clothes, had to pay for stuff for school. I didn't want to be that kid who didn't have clothes, you know what I'm saying? So it started from there, from just lack and scarcity, and that kind of bred the need to get it on my own by all means. I couldn't get a job either. I don't know why. I wanted a job when I was like 10 years old. I couldn't get a job.
Oh yeah, they don't give jobs to 10-year-olds.
I don't think it's legal.
Money they want. But the crazy thing is, you can start a business.
You can.
And so we've seen that even with Spurgo.
Yeah. Oh my God.
This dude is a millionaire, and he's not even of legal age to start a business. Or
he inspires me, man.
To get a job rather. And I feel like in a lot of ways the system kind of limits us. Everybody talks about the system, but we don't acknowledge the systems that are really right there in our face.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you can only work 40 hours a week. Hey, we have all these holidays and these weekends off. Hey, we have all these different things, minimum wage. And those are systems that are put in place to hold you down.
Barriers.
But you don't even realize that they're systems. The fact that you have to have all this money to go into business, that's a system that holds you back.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with people not liking you.
Yeah.
Even though the people who don't like you put it in place. So it's interesting that you built up this brand for somebody else and you kind of lost sight of yourself.
Yeah, it's easy to do that. You kind of get like sidetracked, and it's so easy. You know, it's like you be so focused, and then you forget like, oh man, what about myself? And it's, you know, you start seeing results, and the results came. You know, we was able to, you know, send thousands of, you know, items, handmade items, handcrafted items all over the world. I'm talking about at least 10 different countries, every state in the United States. So we're global, you know, and so it's so easy to get caught up in that. Like, oh man, this is working, and you forget about yourself.
So the value in that I would say though is when you learn that you have the power in you to build something, then you can build it for yourself.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that's what you're doing. So now you have a podcast, you got 70 episodes. What inspired the podcast?
Well, you know, originally it's so funny because while we were setting up, I called one of my brothers, right? We originally had a podcast back in I want to say 2018 called I believe it's called the Ordinary People Show. Mm-hmm. And at first I wanted to call it the Fly on the Wall Show. I don't think there's nothing ordinary about me. I didn't want to call myself ordinary. But you know, it was my friend, he wanted to do podcasting. I never had an interest in it, but it was kind of therapeutic to me. I liked having to be able to kind of talk to someone about, you know, entrepreneurship, about life, and it was just like a relief factor where I can kind of talk to somebody and get my thoughts off. And so I kind of liked it, but it wasn't something that I controlled. You know, we kind of did it when he wanted to. And, you know, he kind of fell out of love with it. And so I was just like, damn, so if he's not doing it, am I not going to do it too? I was like, nah, I can't. Nah, I want to do this podcast thing. And so I had the idea to do it, you know, back in, I want to say the beginning of 2019, but I didn't start till the pandemic. You know, a lot of us, we have ideas in our head, but fear, doubt, and just wanting to be perfect, or I didn't have a camera, I didn't have a microphone, you know, I didn't have nowhere to record, I don't have the money, you know, all these blocks that we put in our head that we can't do something. And I was just like, the pandemic hit though, and I was like, nah, like everything I wanted to do for me, I said I want to write a book. I finally dropped my book in 2020. I said I want to do my podcast. I finally did my first episode, you know, during the pandemic, and so it just started from there. Yeah, just getting out your head.
Another thing that I would say that's interesting is, and this happened to me, is where you go into business with a partner.
Oh yeah.
And the partnership doesn't work out. But it's like, are you going to stop doing business because the partnership didn't work out?
Yeah.
So I've done a lot of, like, your whole story is my story. It's funny. Yeah. I sold candy. Yeah. I threw parties.
Yeah.
Sold clothing, T-shirts, all that stuff.
Everything.
I didn't sell do-rags, but I've done a lot of the similar things that you've done. Yeah. And I've also gone through some of the tribulations where I've built up companies for somebody else, realized that I had the skill set to build something, and then double down on myself. And I've also done stuff with partners where it didn't work out with the partnership, and I had to press on. Absolutely. And so I think that is really cool to hear something similar. Curious though, what does fly on the wall mean?
So fly on the wall. So for me, you know, I like talking. I like conversing with people. I like having powerful conversations that actually mean something, substantial conversations. And I feel like some of the best conversations are the ones that nobody's really around for. So maybe you're like you're in a room just like this, and you're just talking amongst people. Maybe you're at a bar, maybe you're in a bedroom or wherever you're at, and it's like you're like, damn, I wish I was a fly on the wall during that conversation, because some of the $1 million conversations you have are not always in the boardrooms. You know, is it during like an intimate setting, a one-on-one setting, or maybe a bunch of people out for a drink. You know, maybe they're just getting a bite to eat, but powerful $1 million conversations and deals are being had during that. And so I was like, man, I wish I could just be a fly on the wall listening in to those conversations. And so that name stuck with me, and then, you know, I just went with it.
Who was your first guest?
Okay, my first guest, oh man, shout out to my first guest. My first guest is one of my brothers, Lucian Christian. So when I used to throw parties, Lucian Christian, he's actually one of the people that he was one of my partners in the party thing. But Lucian Christian, he's a young, powerful writer. He's an acting coach. He actually he's a writer for the show on the Oprah Winfrey Network called David Makes Man. So it's a powerful show. They won a Peabody Award. You know, I think executive produced by Michael B. Jordan. It's a powerful show. So he was my first guest. Yeah, man.
When you're looking for guests, who are you looking for? Like, what makes a good guest for you?
Yeah, man. So for a guest for me, man, I'm looking for, you know, high-level entrepreneurs and creatives, you know, and also up and coming, you know, entrepreneurs and creators, people with a story, people, you know, the whole purpose of the show is, you know, I want to inspire people to think and create using their gifts, you know, and I feel like one of the questions I ask on all my guests is what's their definition of success? Because on the show, I want to show people that success, it varies depending on where you're in life, different industries. You know, it's not like a one road to get to success. People have their different trials and tribulations, and there's different things. Like a lot of times people, they don't know what success looks like because maybe they never seen success up close. The people around them, maybe lack of resources, maybe their mindset, or maybe their environment. So I talk to these different guests and see, look, what is it, a spiritual connection, a spiritual shift? Was it a mental shift? Was it an environmental shift? Was it networking? You know what I'm saying? What was the things, what was the steps along your journey that took you along the way to, you know, defining your own definition of success? So people who watch it, they can carve out their own definition. They don't have to look at the media. They don't have to look at social media and think, oh, that's what success looks like. You can create a definition for yourself.
Yeah. Who would you say was your favorite guest?
Oh man, I'm gonna say I want to. I like. Well, let me tell you, I liked you because, you know, for one, I talked about something I knew nothing about. I knew nothing about options. I'm still learning about financial literacy, and you know, and when I didn't really know you, and it was so funny because my girlfriend was watching in the background. She was like, oh, he seemed like a tough cookie because you didn't really smile. And then when I was able to get you to smile, he's like, okay, he let his guard down. You know, so that was really good. It kind of showed, you know, how diverse I can be what I'm talking about. But one of my favorite, you know, episodes that was recently would have to be Mr. Keith Perrin. He's actually the co-founder of FUBU. He's one of the co-founders of FUBU, and he's the CEO of FUBU Radio. That one was a powerful one for me because I've been building rapport with Mr. Keith from you know, for the last 2 years, based off all social media, slid into DMs. The DMs, they go down in the DMs. Majority of my guests, including Todd, was found in the DMs. You can make money, you can build relationships, you can build rapport in the DMs. But the conversation meant a lot to me because I try to study successful people that have done something that I want to create. FUBU has created over $6 billion in sales. You know, they're going on almost 30 years. And just speaking to him, it just showed like he was down to earth. You know what I'm saying? He was very relatable. He was very funny. You know what I'm saying? I kind of look for that. I like conversations where we can have a conversation. It doesn't have to be uptight. It doesn't have to be professional. We can laugh. We can talk. If you curse, you can feel free to curse. Or, you know, just show your personality. And he told me some wild stories, man. He told me some wild stories. So that was pretty cool.
What are some gems that you took from that interview?
Well, absolutely. Some gems that I took from that interview, man, was to just go all out. You know, FUBU, they started with $40. You know what I'm saying? They started with $40 in a hat. It wasn't perfect. They failed several times, you know, and they just kept going, you know, and have partners. Have partners that can, you know, you don't have to have partners, but sometimes when you have partners, somebody can carry the different loads. You get to use the skills and expertise of someone else. Also, man, just be able to be transparent. It was a very transparent conversation. We talked about mental health. We talked about emotions. We talked about, you know, just childhood traumas. You know what I'm saying? Being able to have conversations just about, I like to have, you know, all kind of conversations. I feel like those things are important, and even in business and in life. So it just taught me, like, you know, growth, you know, to really like look at growth and being humble and letting go of the ego. He told me a situation where he actually, you know, FUBU was, you know, they kind of died down, and, you know, Damon John, shout out to Damon John, one of my mentors from afar. He was out there, you know, doing his thing with Shark Tank, and, you know, Keith, you know, kind of fell back. You know, he was, you know, kind of getting himself together. He was going through his own journey. And, you know, he came to Damon and said, hey, how can I be of service to you? And, you know, Damon was like, well, you know, the team's kind of good right now, but, you know, I need some help with shipping. And he was like, you need help with shipping? Like, how am I going to help you? But, you know, he said, my brother needed help. He came back and, you know, he helped him out. He fixed the problem. He solved the problem. Find problems and solve problems. If you want to get in the room, solve a problem. And he solved the problem, bro. And FUBU is back, bigger than ever. FUBU Radio's out here, but, you know, he asked how he can be of service. He put his ego to the side, said, my brother need help. It don't matter if he's up here right now, I'm gonna be up there too. I'm up there too. You know what I'm saying? We created something together, and he came, and, you know, and he's doing his thing right now. So it taught me a lot about just putting that ego to the side.
It's cool to hear that FUBU was back, because I think that we got to stop building brands that are just trendy and for the moment.
Yeah.
We need that Coke. Yeah. We need that GE, that Ford, right, that AT&T. We need companies and brands that have lasted for a long time, and the same thing is true even with like music and our artists. So we shouldn't just have artists that they only make one hit and they're gone and make a few albums, now they're deemed outdated. That doesn't happen in other genres like rock and
roll,
that kind
country.
of stuff. Like you still exist. You still dope. You still got hits.
Right.
So that's cool to hear that FUBU was back.
They killing the game, man. They in everything right now. They taking over all the areas of your life. They got watches. They got suits, TV. Like they got everything right now, man. They're about to do hotels. Like it's crazy.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Building a podcast. What are some tips you would give people?
Start now. Shout out to another guest that I had on the show. This young kid, he's like 24. I think his name is Dalton. If I don't want to butcher his name, Dalton. He said something about start ugly. You know what I'm saying? Start now, start ugly. It doesn't have to be beautiful. It doesn't have to be pretty. You could be in a hotel room. You could be in your living room. You could be in the kitchen. Just take it. You can have an iPhone. Most of my shows are my iPhone. All of them on my iPhone. Start now. You know what I'm saying? And just reach out to people. Have conversations. I'm not sure what type of podcast some people are building. Maybe they're building something where it may not be interview style, but if it is interview style, just reach out to people. Start off with some of your friends. Get comfortable with talking to other people. Talk to yourself. Go live on Instagram. Talk to yourself. Get that confidence. Send out emails. Send DMs. Build rapport with people. Don't be afraid of rejection. That's one of the biggest things I've learned. Don't be afraid of rejection. People are busy. You know what I'm saying? Follow up is key. Mm-hmm. That's some of the things I've learned.
You started a podcast on an iPhone. How do you do that? Everybody thinks you need microphones.
Yeah.
And you need expensive $2,000 cameras. And you need a studio. You started a podcast with the iPhone.
iPhone.
How?
Man, shout out to the iPhone. Shout out to Apple. If you got stock in Apple, hey man, iPhones is everything, man. But I started off, there's different apps you could download, but the app that I use is Anchor. So I have the Anchor app where I'm able to send whatever I record. I can upload it through Anchor, and it sends it to Apple Podcasts. It sends it to Spotify. It sends it to whatever. It's different, platforms that you can use. But I use Zoom and I use Instagram Live for most of my audio. And people ask me, like, how do you get the audio from a live to your Anchor or to whatever? I saved my lives. I download another app where I can transfer the video to audio to MP4, and I upload the MP4 to Anchor, and Anchor does the rest for me. So you just have to start now.
What's that app that you're using?
Oh, I got you. Let me get the right name for you guys.
The peeps need to know the app.
Absolutely. Damn, I hate my password be so long. So the app that I use to transfer my videos is called MP3 Converter. And if you look in the Apple Store or Android, I'm not a really Android user, but if you look in the Apple Store, it's called MP3 Converter, and you'll see it says MP3 Converter, and it's like 3 different shades of purple. And it's so simple. You just upload the video that you're trying to transfer, and you can actually, transfer it to different things like Wave, MP4, whatever the case may be is, and you can upload it straight to Anchor. And I do the same thing with Zooms.
What was your motivation in starting your podcast?
My motivation, I started my podcast during the pandemic, and I stopped. That was in July, and then I stopped, and I didn't start again until October. One of the things that really kept me going was because, during that time, we had moved to Atlanta, and at that time, I was sleeping in my car. I was, was displaced for like 3-4 months when we first moved here, homeless. But we came here with a dream. Granted, we was able to get hotels, every now and then. And when we did stay in a hotel, we stayed at 4-star hotels. It wasn't just like we went to a motel. And the reason why we did that, shout out to Priceline. Use the Priceline app. Got 4-star hotels because I realized that environment is key. We came down here with a dream and with a vision that we're not going backwards. So we stayed in the 4-star hotels because we told ourselves what we deserve and where we belong. We wanted to be around quality people. So if we weren't sleeping in the car, we were sleeping around quality people. We were staying in nice rooms. Nice rooms for cheap. Shout out to Priceline. But that was the mindset that we had, that when we were able to sleep in a room, we're going to sleep in a nice room. We're going to sleep in a nice bed. We're going to take a nice shower. We're going to take a nice hot shower, because your mindset is everything. You got to visualize where you want to be and where you want to go. If you want to be around certain type of people, you got to put yourself around certain type of people. And certain type of people, they stay in nice hotels, and so that's one of the things that we did, man. And so, I knew that, I had to keep creating content. I had to keep networking. I had to keep connecting with people. People had to know who I was. People had to know what I do. I have a purpose. I know what I'm building. I know where I'm going. And so that alone was motivation for me to keep going, as well as, it's me and my queen and my dog, my girlfriend, thank God, we're building her brand as well. Shout out to Golden the Brand. I'm actually wearing this handmade piece right now. Golden the Brand, she made this from scratch. She put, my logo on here from scratch and everything like that. And, thank God we were able to build her brand at the same time. And because of her brand, with me on the social media, we went viral several times. We were able to, get our apartment. And shout out to, the different people that helped out. I had an investor to help me invest in some marketing. I was homeless. I took an investment to increase my marketing while I was homeless. How many people was gonna invest in themselves while they're sleeping in their damn car? Not most people. I knew I said, I want you to invest in me for this particular reason. I knew I was homeless. I knew I was sleeping in my car. I still took my money and invested in certain things for my brand. You know what I'm saying? I made sure we had food to eat. I made sure that we had shelter when we could. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to her. Shout out to Charlie Rocket. I was homeless. Shout out to Charlie Rocket. He saw me sleeping in my car and he took me to his mother's house. Charlie Rocket, if you know who he is, he's a speaker. He used to be the manager of 2 Chainz. He's won Emmy Awards, Grammys. He saw me, we met, he felt my energy, we conversed. He took me to his mother's house a day after Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? Took me to his mother's house, a stranger off the road, never met me in his life. Took me to his mother's house. Scraped off food off his plate and put it in my plate. Went to his room, came out and gave me $3,400 to give me some momentum. He flew me out to my grandfather's funeral, put me in one of the most expensive hotels, the Hard Rock Casino Hotel, the Guitar Hotel, put me in the most expensive room. I'm talking about like $800 a night. Just because he told me like, yo, Javier, yo, JR, you're a rich man. You're a rich man, bro. It's not about what you have in your pockets right now. It's about where you're going. So I want to help you see your future so you can create your future. And so that's what kept me going, man. That's what keeps me going every day. Just knowing there's people out here, there's good people out here that want to see me win. There's people that believe in me. So I believe in myself so much, but it feels so good to know that there's people that see you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just want somebody to see you. When people see you, bro, it's a good feeling.
Yeah. Man, that's powerful.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me here.
I'm curious, what's going through your mind when you're going through and you're grinding and you're staying down, like, because you could have gone back home.
Yeah,
you could have done a lot of different things.
There was no home for me to go back to, dog.
So what's your mindset at that point?
Well, my mindset at that time is I can't go back. You know what I'm saying? I can't go back. My mindset is I have nowhere to go back to. No one is, one of the most important things and lessons I've heard, and I always say to like my girlfriend Natalia, is that no one is coming to save us. No one is coming to save us, bro. You have to be your own savior. You gotta know what you gotta have a why. You gotta have a purpose. A lot of the things that are coming, like, bro, I remember sitting in the car, bro, and like in front of Quick Trip. We got Quick Trip out here. Wawa's out here at Quick Trip. Sitting in the gas station, and I couldn't sleep because, we in the middle of the gas station, bro. And so I didn't go to sleep until maybe like 6 a.m. while she slept. So until the sun came back up, so I can go sleep for maybe an hour, get some rest. I used to sit there, and send DMs and send Instagrams and just read. I feed my mind. I watch videos. I was Googling and researching how many millionaires and billionaires were homeless. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one that's been through this. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things I remind myself of. This is nothing new. Almost every successful person, a majority of successful people, they experience something. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it was, they experienced something. You have to go through something to get to your final destination. I knew this wasn't my final destination. Even right now, it's not my final destination. I knew this shit was temporary. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things I told myself in my mind. This is something that I get to go through. I have to go through this right now to get to where I'm trying to go. There's so many lessons that God is trying to show me. I know that, one, I'm going to be a millionaire easy. I'm probably going to be a millionaire in the next year. I know that for a fact. But my goal is to be a billionaire. Like, I already know that's my energy. If you feel my energy, I'm going to be a billionaire. And if you're going to be a billionaire, it takes a lot of losses. People want to win, but they're afraid to lose, bro. And that's one thing that I'm not afraid to lose. I've experienced losses all my life. So I'm not afraid to lose, and I will risk it all to be successful. Of course, I got to make sure we good. I'm also willing to risk it all, but I'm going to make sure my family is good. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure my family is good. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure my family is good. And so, you know what I'm saying? That's one of the things that was always going through my mind. I got to make sure my family good. Mm-hmm. I got to make sure, because, like, it's so funny because we was at lunch today, and we were talking about, a lot of different, I kept quiet. I'm like, damn, I'm an up-and-coming man. You know what I'm saying? And it takes a lot for someone to stay with you while you're going through that. You know, thank God, me and my girl, we met in college. So that love was already there. She seen me at some very moments. When she first met me, I remember I used to work at Walmart, and I had got hurt at Walmart, and I got a check for like $20,000. So I remember having like $20,000 in my bank account at one time, and I was like 18. I was like maybe like 20, 21. So like, my girl, she was with me when some good times, and then some bad times came. But I was always able to make. I'm the type of person. I'm always gonna find a way to make shit happen. I gotta make it happen. How I'm gonna go viral on Twitter? How we gonna go viral on TikTok? How I'm gonna go viral on Instagram? How we gonna make 5K? You know what I'm saying? It's so many different. Like, I've seen like, man, we was home. I don't want to. Man, just know that God has been good to us, man. It's not easy. It's a battle, but I know where I'm going. I keep that in the front of my mind where I'm going. I keep that vision. I keep my vision board in front of me. I have a vision board on my phone right now, my screensaver. You know what I'm saying? I got this tattoo, which is a symbol for gratitude. So every time I look down, I remind myself to always be grateful for everything I'm going through. Because, I get to go through this. People that's going through this right now, and they don't have a clue what they're going to do. They don't know they don't know they can create money. They don't know that money is energy and it's attracted to you. You can attract the people in your life. Man, Todd hit me up last month. Todd didn't even know, like, he blessed me. You know what I'm saying? He blessed me. And all I said, yo, I'll work for free, Todd. I said, Todd, I just want to be in the room. I work for free, and you bless me because money is an energy, bro. And so you just gotta believe in yourself, man. So that's what I do.
So what would you say is your business now? Content, media. What's your line of business?
Well, Food for Thought. Food for Thought is my personal brand. I'm building Food for Thought I'm building Food for Thought Network, which is going to be a whole global network when it comes to this content creation, marketing, personal branding. That's what I'm building, a whole media company. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to position things in the most positive of light. I feel like our culture and just the media in general, we position things. Positioning is everything. You can control the world just off of the positioning of something. But I want to be able to position things. I can position anything. I come up with things quick in my mind, but I want to be able to position things in the best light, in the most positive light. I feel like if you want people to win, you have to feed their minds and you have to feed their soul. So what's the best than giving them food for thought? So that's what I'm building.
That's dope.
Thank you.
Man, where do you see yourself in maybe the next 5 years?
The next 5 years, I'm gonna be a multi-millionaire. I'm gonna be, a big philanthropist, donating all over the world. I'm gonna be, speaking on stages. I already know I'm gonna be speaking on stages. I'm gonna be helping people build their brands, and I'm just gonna be, I want to finally know how it feels to kind of relax.
We had a really cool podcast experience today with Bruce,
powerful.
New Skills, New You, and 3 very, very powerful women.
Absolutely.
What was your takeaway from that?
It was very, bro. It's always cool to be a fly on the wall, listening on the room. Just being in the room and feeling the energy. Seeing people taking all the information, seeing people take notes, seeing people react. Shout out to Bruce. He gave a lot of different gems. He's really good at sales. I was taking notes. I got some videos. Like, I was taking notes, man. It's just so cool to just listen. Just listen and just take in. Like, he dropped some gems on just. Well, that's one of the biggest gems, like how to be a really top salesperson, is to listen, solve problems, and then even listening to the different ladies, the 3 queens I was in the room, powerful. They all had different perspectives. It was just cool to feel that energy and just. I ain't gonna lie, the women were snapping. They're very passionate. They were. Very passionate. I like to see that.
Yeah. So, we brought out the queens. Michelle Welch, shout out to her. Shout out to Reunikia, and also shout out to Tasha God to Stay. So check them out. Follow them on Instagram. They were in there just murking it, bringing the heat, bringing the passion, bringing their enthusiasm. And you guys are going to get a ton of value out of those episodes when they drop. So make sure
to drop them like 3 months from now? I don't know. People have to hold the content. Todd, you hold the content?
It's going to be, I'm releasing Bruce next week, Michelle the week after. I do 1 a week. So
you don't hold the content.
Nah, this is going out tonight, y'all.
Ooh.
This podcast will be up on YouTube tonight. I ain't playing with y'all.
Ooh.
So, man, what drew you to Atlanta? What drew you to this area?
Man, Atlanta, man, to be honest, it was so crazy because we was in Tampa. We were going to go back down to South Florida originally, like Miami area, because I feel like Miami is just, like we we're getting into fashion and everything. It's just, and then entrepreneurship is just like, it's more heavier in the Miami area than it is like more so the Fort Lauderdale. There's a lot of young people doing things, but we was hearing some things about Atlanta. My girlfriend mentioned. I was like, I don't know, cause I never left Florida. You know what I'm saying? And she wanted to leave. She hates, well, she started to love Florida, but she's from New York. She kind of wants to leave Florida. So I was like, let's try Atlanta. Mm-hmm. But then like I started looking. I was like, yo, there's so many black people out here doing some amazing things. Not just black people, young black people, old black people, middle-aged black people, but just black people, men and women, just doing some powerful things and connecting and networking and just building 6, 7-figure, 8-figure brands. Like, I'm just like, damn, I want to be around like people that look like me, people that have similar ideals and stuff like that, is actually doing stuff. And that's what brought us to Atlanta.
That's dope.
Yes,
How long do you plan on staying here?
I like Atlanta, man. I feel like it's about to be a year since we actually journeyed here. I think like next week makes a year, like officially. But I think I'm always have a home in Atlanta. I might have homes, other places as well. But Atlanta is dope. You know what I'm saying? Atlanta is dope, man. So it's. I feel like I'm just getting started. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like Atlanta is dope, man. I'm definitely gonna be here for a while.
And it seems like you've been doing a good amount of networking, meeting some dope people.
Yeah, man.
How are you planning to, I guess, leverage those relationships? Because the way you approach networking is different than most people.
Yeah.
So what's your strategy there?
I'm the type of person, man, relationships over money. Relationships over money. Like, I like to build relationships because you never know who you're going to talk to. You never know who you're meeting. It's people that's talking to me right now. They have no idea who I am, who I know, what I've done. I'm just chilling. You know what I'm saying? But relationships are so important because you never know what that person can do for you or what you can do for that person. You never know if you're going to start a business with that person or you can, broker a deal with that person, because I talk to people in different industries. So I'm absorbing all this information, whether it's financial literacy, whether it's real estate, whether it's fashion. I talk to some of the biggest fashion brands in the world, FUBU, Rich Fresh, Henry Maz, $1 million companies. So I'm building a fashion brand right now with my queen. We're going to dominate fashion. I'm talking to the biggest fashion designers in the world. Shout out to Kiki. You know what I'm talking? You know what I'm saying? So like relationships over money because they know something I don't know. And I know something they may not know. We're able to like help each other. And so the relationships get you in the room. And when you're in the room, anything's possible. Yeah. So that's my thing, relationships over money.
I 100% agree. And I like the way that you go about things because you always look to add value. And you look to be of service as opposed to looking to extract.
Yeah.
And what people don't realize is everybody's looking to extract from these people.
Yeah.
How are you going to separate yourself from the pack? How are you going to get yourself head and shoulders above people who are trying to get in touch with the same people you're trying to get in touch with? So there's a lot of folks out here, man, in the DMs saying the same stuff. Don't say nothing. I would rather just see you produce some stuff. I didn't even ask him to create content. I asked him to film content. He turned into creation, and that creation turned into other things. So who's willing to take those extra steps? Who's willing to go out there and do something that they might not get paid for? Most people only recognize an opportunity if it's attached to the paycheck, if it's attached to an invoice, if it's attached to some cash. Not realizing that, like you said, a certain relationship can take you way further than that little $200 you was trying to get. So focus on just adding, man. You never lose that way. Even if you don't get paid, you're still gonna receive compensation in some form. That's why I started this company. All I did was add value to folks. That's literally all I did was teach people, educate people, help people invest. I didn't go out there talking about, I'm Charles, I got a degree in finance, pay me $1,000 to work with me. No. I was like, I'm Charles, I got a degree in finance, how can I help you? How can I help you learn about investing? How can I help you invest and make some money in the stock market? And it works. It works. People don't do it just for fun. Like, he's doing it because it works. He has goals. He wants to reach $1 million levels, $1 billion levels. Yeah. And you get there by increasing that network, which is huge. Increase that network, but also just adding value to others. Even when you become successful, your responsibility still is to add value to others.
Absolutely.
You don't get to stop that. That's just a lifestyle that you chose by choosing to be one of the wealthy. So, man, do you have any questions for me?
Absolutely. You know I like asking you questions, Todd, man. And so, the Millionaire Talk Show. What's that all about? What's the Millionaire Talk Show? What we on right now? You got so many podcasts. What we on right now? Tweet Talk, Millionaire Talk.
Oh, this is the Millionaire Talk Show.
Millionaire Talk
Apparently,
Show.
they can't hear us for some reason.
They can't hear us.
It might be too far away, but
Oh man. Okay. The
you
live.
guys, y'all just got to deal with it, man. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all catch it in the podcast form. My bad, but I got to get this video.
Absolutely.
So, Millionaire Talk Show. I just recently changed the name. Decided to part ways with the former co-host.
Okay.
But the show goes on.
Show goes on.
We ain't stopping. I didn't start this for anybody else but my community.
Right.
So as long as the community's rocking with me, we still got a show.
Got you.
That's what we got.
Absolutely, man. And so when it comes to just your overall brand, what are you trying? I know you accomplished so many amazing things. It's over 25,000, courses sold, books sold.
Mm-hmm.
You made multi-millions of dollars building such a huge presence on social media, taking it offline and doing, speaking at conferences. Like where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you see Todd Capital, Charles in the next 5 years?
I feel like in a few years, my goal is just to own a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Those buildings that you see, I want to own them. The companies, I want to own them. I would like to own a sports franchise. And I think that's really my goal. And I think that I can make that my goal because I have time and a network. And I don't need the money. So I'm doing deals because they make sense, not so that I can get rich. And it might sound crazy, but the rich is going to come. So I just want to do deals because they make sense.
Right.
Not because I'm trying to squeeze the bucks out of them. Not because I'm trying to hurry up and buy a Beamer or a Bentley or whatever that might be. It's just like, hey, this is a deal that makes sense. Let's get it. And so that's my goal. My goal is and that's why I like areas where you can do those things. And California really isn't an area where you can do those things.
Right.
California isn't an area where you can look at something and it makes sense. For example, we're talking about cheap homes in California cost $300,000, $500,000.
And what areas are that?
Right. But you can build, that's the hood. That's like, nobody
hood.
even wants to live there. But you can come to a different city and live very, very well for a modest amount of money. You can build an empire for a modest amount of money. That's what I'm trying to get into. That's why I am in Detroit, but I feel like Detroit still is lagging.
Right.
I feel like it's not so much the city and the buildings, it's the people. The mindset of the people in Detroit is non-productive. I like Atlanta because it's similar dynamics of Detroit. Detroit is a very black city. You go to Detroit, you go to it's just like this. You go to the hotels, black workers. You get on the shuttle for the airport, black workers. You're in the airport, black workers. You go to the mall, black workers. In the restaurant, it's just like Atlanta. Very black city. The difference is the black wealth is different. It's not as spread out. The black wealth in Detroit is like a few older people. It's not like young folks running it up.
Right.
The young folks out there are thugging it up. And I can't really vibe with that. I like what I see here. I like the opportunity here. I like what I can build here. We just talked to Unique. She owns a whole lending company.
Oh my gosh, bro.
You don't see that in California. We're not afforded those opportunities in California for whatever the reasons might be. But you got to go to where the opportunity is. That's when people are moving to Dallas, they're moving to Atlanta, and they're not just sitting there stuck complaining. I don't want to be stuck complaining. You don't want to be stuck complaining. That's why you're here. Absolutely. And that's why I'm here very often, because I'm like, California, it was cool. I was able to make some money on the internet, but I still run into the same issues. That's why I left my job. Right. I was still running into the same issues with job stuff. I'm not out there making $200,000 a year. I'm not out there making $150,000 a year. You're out there and you're just making it by. Right. And California is so crazy because it's so expensive, but because they're so hard on businesses can't pay you that well. And so it's really the California government that ruins it for everybody, because they make it difficult for business to pay you well, but they also make it difficult for business to be able to charge reasonable prices, because they're just kind of like effing the businesses, right, which in turn F's everybody. And so you got to go to states that are business friendly, Texas, more conservative states, Georgia, Arizona, places like that, like the Carolinas, where you can actually do well. And you got to intentionally find those places and seek those places out.
Right. I got one more question, right? Like, what's one of the most important gems that you've learned from, your different guests? Like, for example, I remember you were talking about a GC that you were having problems with. I don't remember if it was in Detroit or somewhere. You was having a problem with he wasn't doing no work. Today, shout out to the queen, Reunica. She dropped the gems about how she deals with them. Like, that was a gem. I'm like, I remember you had a problem, and I'm like, damn, that probably works for you. Like, what's one of the most memorable gems that you think you learned from one of your guests?
So there's so many.
Yeah.
And when you're in podcast mode, it's tough to digest it all.
Yeah.
Because I'm just looking to make sure
Value.
I'm thinking of really, really good questions. I don't script my shows. I try to script them a little bit, but
it's hard.
For the most part, I'm just flowing.
Yep.
You never know where the conversation is going to go. But the Reunique gem where she said something about it's not like we're not out here just getting bread from the sky.
Right.
Like we're not born into this. So you need to put some respect on the money that I'm giving you. And I had a situation with a contractor very recently where I'm out $50,000. And he said the project will be done in 12 weeks. He said I need to be sending him $10,000 a week. I held up on my end of the bargain, but he didn't hold up on his end of the bargain.
Oh, wow.
And he had no valid reason for why he did not, and that's a problem. And so what I took from that is we're out here trying to keep the money in the community. Everybody has to do their part.
Right.
It's not just our part to put the dollars in the community. You got to make it a worthy investment. You got to do good work. You got to do quality work. You got to make sure that you're holding up your end of the bargain so we can continue to do this. And she said the same thing that I've had the same thoughts. Like, I have people who will ruin me over $2,500, not realizing like we're in the business of real estate. So behind this project is another project, and then another project, and another project. And you're over here trying to make 50 grand when you could have made 500 grand. And so like that was one of the most memorable gems. But there's a ton. Every guest just brought the fire, man. I was so
he was
impressed.
Fire.
It far surpassed my expectations because I want to say the first guest that I booked was Reunique. And then I reached out to Tasha because I saw Tasha in Atlanta the last time I was here.
Right.
When I recorded a podcast, I reached out to her. We were like, we got to connect. And so then when I was out here, I was like, hey, what's going on? And so then I got her, and I was like, you know what? I want to get all girls. I want to get all women. That'll be fire. I'd already mentioned to Bruce that he could come on, so that doesn't count. But I was like, let me see who else I can get this female. I reached out to Michelle, and I was like, there we go. So it was kind of a cool theme that I got a chance to run with.
You be having people fly to you though.
Right, that's the crazy part about it. Well, I think that's the beauty of having an in-person podcast. Yeah. And we talked about that before. It's an opportunity for all of us. Yeah. So we're bringing them an opportunity.
Absolutely.
Like we're asking them for something, but we're also giving them an opportunity to be on a platform.
Yep.
And so, I mean, people are willing to do that. They're willing to step into a studio for a professional production that they can then utilize and put on different platforms.
Yeah. That's dope.
So, oh man, let me make sure this camera's good.
Absolutely, man.
We'll wrap it up.
Absolutely.
Hopefully this video comes through right. Sorry guys on the sound, man. I know, man. I don't know what's going on. But you guys will get it. So, what does wealth mean to you?
To me, I believe wealth is just abundance. You know what I'm saying? Abundance in just resources, abundance in health, abundance in happiness, freedom, peace of mind. I think peace, like for me, when I say wealthy, man, I just want to be wealthy in peace and happiness and tranquility. You know what I'm saying? Money is just a tool to me. You know what I'm saying? Money is a tool to get you from point A to point Z. It comes and goes as an energy. You can get it, you can lose it. That's not true wealth to me. True wealth is just an abundance of just, happiness, peace of mind, and freedom, time. Well, I'm not going to say time, but yeah, time, freedom. You know what I'm saying? That's true wealth to me, man. Just abundance in all areas of your life.
What is your favorite business or real estate book?
Oh, man. My favorite, I guess I would say one of the Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich was one of the books that did it for me. Think and Grow Rich. Shout out to Napoleon Hill. I know one day I'm going to be working with the Napoleon Hill Foundation. That's one of my goals. Think and Grow Rich, Outwitting the Devil, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Those are some of the books for me. It's definitely Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Taught me everything about the different quadrants. I'm like, damn, I'm doing this joint backwards. So those are my favorite books. Shout to Sharon.
What sets apart successful entrepreneurs from those who give up, fail, or never get started?
I think what sets, those different people apart is just the belief in self, and just being able to have endurance. Being successful is a journey. It's a marathon. Like, shout out to Nipsey Hussle, long live Nip. It's a marathon. It's not just a regular race. Some people start, they get a little tired, they get a little fatigued, they feel some cramp. They start cramping. They're like, let me just turn back. And then when you turn back, you got to start all over again. If you want to get to the finish line, you got to start all over. But if you keep going, even if you got to walk, even if you got to crawl, even if you got to drag yourself and you just get there, you going to get there. But it's a journey, man. And so I feel like the difference is just the belief in self and just being able to just keep going and realizing that, failure sometimes failure is sometimes just redirection. Mm-hmm. You have to fail to succeed. You can't. There's nobody that's truly winning that didn't fail or didn't take a loss, man. So it's just being able to just be resilient and belief in self.
Dope. So before I ask you for your contact information and your product information, what is one gem you would leave with the people on the way out?
Oh, man. One gem that I would leave with people, man, is do whatever it takes to get in the room. Provide value. Just ask how you can be of service. Ask how I can help you. Ask how you can help me. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times people go into a situation just thinking about themselves. Mm-hmm. Provide value. Try to see what that person needs. Todd needed someone to record some content. I had an iPhone. I was there. Provided some value. He put me in the room with so many different powerful people. You know what I'm saying? Powerful people. People that even paid me since then. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk. Shout out to Erica. You know what I'm saying? Like, provide value, man. Get in the room. Get in the room. Just find a way to get in the room, man. Go to conferences. You know what I'm saying? Go on podcasts. Connect. Network. Don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid of rejection, man. But provide value. Get in the room somehow. Use your gifts.
Dope. Where can people find you? Where can they follow you? And where can they support what you have going on?
Absolutely, man. If you want to, you can follow me. You can check out my website. You can check out my website at www.imjrlee.com. You can follow me on Instagram, imjr_Lee. There's somebody else out there who has imjrlee. I'm trying to get that. Twitter, imjrlee. Everything imjrlee. Instagram, to make sure you put the period. But you can find me. Food for thought, man. I just want to provide substance to your mind, to your body, and your soul.
Dope. Another one. That's 5 for the day, man.
Oh, boy.
And we dropping it. I know you guys couldn't hear it on Instagram Live, but the reason why I did it anyway is because I wanted to make sure that I had quality video. So depending on what the camera picks up, we're going to use that because I don't have my light. Usually I have your light and the light shines, and I don't have my light right now. So we got to do what we got to do, man.
Absolutely.
We out there just doing what we got to do. I appreciate you for coming by.
I appreciate you for having me.
Introducing people to your store, which is truly inspiring.
Thank you, bro.
Definitely make sure that it makes you not take anything for granted, take anything lightly, and know that no matter what situation you're in, you can always grind it out. So, dope. Make sure you guys follow him. Make sure you buy some of the stuff he has, too. Subscribe to his podcast. Support this brother. He's out of here bringing the game to you. He's bringing people that we didn't even know would go on podcasts to you. Sharon Lecter, when I saw that, I was like, wow. I knew the name, but yeah, that's amazing. And he did it all from an iPhone, and we all have an iPhone. Everybody has an iPhone. If you don't have an iPhone, you whack. But if you don't have an iPhone, at least an Android can do some of that.
Try that. I don't know if it works on an iPhone.
I don't know if you can be successful with an Android, but we will see. So anyway, my name is Charles Oglesby, here with the brother J.R. Lee in Atlanta for the 5th podcast of the day, and we are signing off.
Peace. Thanks for having me, man.
Dope.